This week's theme, I believe, is most embarrassing story. But first I'm going to tell you a little bit what's going on with me. It is below freezing outside right now, and so I don't have school today. Thank God, because it iced horrendously last night. On Friday, I decided to go buy a car. And I was really happy because I was able to do that by myself, and I'm only 20 years old, so I was really happy that I was able to buy it myself without any co-signer, and I'm going to be able to completely purchase this car over 5 years by myself, and I'm really happy I can do that because it feels like my first adult decision. So this week's theme, like I said, is most embarrassing story. I'm not really the type of person that gets embarrassed too easily, so I don't consider this an embarrassing story. It took me a long time to get the courage up to tell someone, so I guess it could be considered an embarrassing story. But the first person I told the story to was Chrissy, my best friend, and it was months later. I've probably flown about 9 times in my life, and most of them were by myself. The first couple times I was a minor, and so I had someone, like a flight attendant person, helping me to know where I needed to go and all that business. But the third time I was 18, and it was the first time I was flying completely by myself, and I was going up to Vermont to meet my mom, who lives up there. My flight was a red-eye. It was about, I think it was at 2 o'clock in the morning. And we got there, or I got to the airport about 12 because my grandfather is a stickler for being on time, and he thinks you need to be there like 2 or 3 hours before the plane leaves, which as a person who didn't really know anything about flying, I was just like, whatever, just take me when I need to be there. So I get there, I go through security, no one's really there. I mean, it's really early in the morning, so there's not a whole lot of flights going on. I'm going on a Dallas airport, and if anyone's been to the Dallas airport, they know it's not too impressive compared to other airports. Also, flying out of Spirit. Anyone who's flown on Spirit knows that it is hell. It's so horrible. No one should fly on Spirit. It's the worst. Don't fly Spirit is the main thing I'm trying to say, because it was horrible. The flight in general is horrible. It's not my embarrassing story. It was just really horrible. No one should fly Spirit. I'm sitting in the airport. It's about 12:30, maybe 1, and I'm at the gate that I'm supposed to be at, and I'm looking at the thing, and these people start getting onto the plane, and they don't say anything about what the plane is. So I was like, well, maybe they're putting the people on early? I didn't know, because people told me, oh, sometimes they let them on the plane early if they get there in time. So I was like, well, maybe this is my plane. So I go over to the ticket lady, hand her my ticket, she tears it in the and I get on the plane. And I'm sitting there, next to these 2 Indian people, and the pilot says all of a sudden, okay guys, blah blah blah, Las Vegas, and I was like, what? And I leaned over to the people next to me, and I said, is this plane supposed to be going to Las Vegas? And they said yes. It's like, I'm on the wrong plane. So these people are really nice. They get up really quickly and they help me get my stuff together, and I'm like trying to get down the aisle, and the flight attendant stops me and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm on the wrong plane. So she like quickly helps me off the plane. I get off, and I'm like traumatized at this point, because like I almost went to Las Vegas when I'm trying to go to Boston at this point. And it was pretty embarrassing. Well, not really embarrassing, because I really didn't care what other people thought. It was just embarrassing to myself because I couldn't believe I had gotten on the wrong plane. And I almost went to Las Vegas. That would have been a disaster, going to Las Vegas. Then, okay, so the lady had torn my ticket in half, and I had lost my other part of the ticket, so I didn't have any other ticket. And so I was looking in my bags, and I was looking, thank God, really thank God, I can't believe this happened, but my grandfather accidentally printed 2 tickets, and so I had a second one. It was the same ticket, but like he printed 2 of them of the same ticket, so I had another ticket and I was able to go. The moral of the story though is that don't go on Spirit, because they won't tell you if you're getting on the wrong plane. Also, they don't tell you if you switch gates, and it's just a sickening flight on a really small plane, and it's horrible. So that's my embarrassing story. I have lots more. Well, not really lots more. I have another one about getting kicked out of a liquor store, but I think that's a very different story. Terry, I think you guys met her before, but she has a haircut now. She's all nice looking. She doesn't like that the weather's like this. She's really cold, and she's being a butthead and not going to the bathroom outside. And yeah, so gonna do the Jenna Marbles thing. Bye everybody. Bye. You don't care, do you?